To help us understand the legal issues in the first week of Vice President Sara Duterte's impeachment trial, we are now joined by former Integrated Bar of the Philippines, or IBP President, Attorney Domingo Cayosa. Good morning, Attorney. Thank you for joining us again. Good morning.
Morning, magandang umaga sa ating mga kababayan.
Okay, Attorney, natapos na po ang isang linggo, di ba po, ng ating impeachment trial. What is your overall assessment of the first 3 days of the impeachment trial?
So far, orderly naman. It is fair. The lawyers are doing their job and we should commend them for that. That inusisa. So wala naman nag-walk out. May mga issues, of course, normal yan sa isang hukuman and in a case, but they were resolved fairly quickly. So far, so good. But we hope that in the next days, hindi ganito kabagal. And we hope that in the next days, they avoid too much legalese, too much technicality and procedural details, and simplify the process, because the impeachment is not a criminal case. It's not even a civil case or an administrative case. Of course, the rules are important and the details are important, but this case is a very important case, but it is very simple. Practically all the facts are there. We've seen those facts in previous public hearings. The documents, the reports are there, the receipts are there, the affidavits, and the testimonies. And we hope that the Senate Impeachment Tribunal will take more control and direct the attention of both sides, everybody, to the really substance of the allegations and fairly evaluate them so that they can assess whether or not this would constitute the four impeachment charges, grounds, and whether or not the respondent, the Vice President, is still worthy of remaining to be in office.
Is this also related, Attorney, to the degree of leniency of presiding officer Senator Cheese Escudero and the way he's been presiding over this impeachment trial, allowing the objections, allowing both sides to raise arguments? Is that something na gusto nyo pong iwasan na sa susunod na linggo ng trial?
Well, hindi naman totally iwasan, no? So far, he has ruled on many of the motions quite fairly and quickly. His experience as a litigation lawyer or as a lawyer at the very least shows, no? But siguro sa first week, liberal sila, they allow everybody to speak para walang masabing railroading ito or unfairness. But they have to, it's not only a question of deciding whether or not totoo o hindi. It's really managing the time also of the impeachment court. Because under the Constitution, dapat mabilisan lang ito. Hindi naman ito pwedeng gawin kagaya ng mga nasa korte, criminal case na inaabot ng siyam-siyam. So ito, final ng desisyon ng impeachment court, but they have to manage. And also, unfortunately, ang nagkakatunggali dito, hindi lang yung prosecution or defense. Mukhang within the court itself, meron silang mga alitan, no? Hindi pagkakaintindihan. That's normal in a collegiate court, that they have to manage that also.
Attorney, you've already brought up the pacing of the trial itself. And as Senator Bam mentioned nga, parang 9 hours alone on one witness. The prosecution has already said that they're going to utilize the 11 days. And next week, we still have 3 witnesses lined up. How can they is it possible to maintain the 11 days, or are we going to see, an extension of time?
Well, if this is the way they will continue doing it, halos lahat ng statement, lahat ng question, may objection, may komento, may argumentation, definitely hahaba ito. Unfortunately, I think, unfortunately, hindi masyadong masinop, madetalye yung pre-trial. Because the pre-trial, if conducted rigorously and very well, would have avoided many of these contentions. For example, yung video, nakita na natin lahat yan.
Right.
Gagamitin ng prosecution daw. Gagamitin din pala ng defense. Ba't pa nila pinag-aawayan? Diba? All the way up to the authenticity. Sa pre-trial, pwede na sana nilang kinompare yung kopya na magkabilang panig. Kung pare-pareho din naman, dapat, they can even excuse this witness already. So, ganun yung medyo nakaligtaan nila. But they can cure that because the impeachment judges or even the presiding senator can really ask questions to frame things even before the witnesses are asked to testify. Kasi pwede naman na marami nga silang common witnesses. O kung yun naman pala, hindi pag-usapan na ano bang sasabihin dun sa magkabilang panig. So, we hope they will do that. No? Parang siguro, at least orderly, maayos, but they have to hasten or move the case much faster than yung nangyari sa past 3 days.
But talking about the video, attorney, what is your, kumbaga parang overall assessment regarding that exhaustive cross-examination of the defense to the witness yesterday? More than 1 hour po yun, and to only to arrive at the fact na they will accept the video and say na talagang there's an oppression, systematic oppression dun sa side ng VP, kaya nagkaroon ng conditional threat. Attorney.
Well, that's a fine example of something that could have been avoided, di ba? Kung nag-stipulate na lang yan sa umpisa pa, hindi na sana kinakailangan ito. But we cannot also fault the lawyers. They're competent, they're smart, they're young, and they're just doing their job. Kung walang stipulation, so lahat ng maaring pwedeng sitahin, sisitahin talaga nila yan. Lalo na kung ang approach is very procedural or siguro ang nila parang gagawin parang criminal case. Hindi naman criminal case ito
Right.
So we cannot also fault them. That's their job. But the impeachment court has to assert itself. They have to bring down the level of the procedure na isimplify nila na naiintindihan ng taong bayan at naiintindihan din ng mga hukom na hindi abogado. Yung the legalities, the technicalities, the procedural details should not prevail over the substance of the evidence at saka yung mga argumento nila.
Per attorney, based on your observation, is there any value to still verifying the authenticity of this video and the matter by which it was investigated? Because Senator Risa Ontiveros raised an interesting question on day 2 of the trial, and she asked, how is this material to proving that this grave threats can constitute as an impeachable offense? She wanted to know, mayroon nga ba talagang na contract na assassin, na hitman? Did the Vice President go as far as talking to someone to actually kill the President, the First Lady, and the former Speaker? What are your thoughts on that, attorney?
Well, that's a very good point, no? They have to frame it properly, no? Like for example, questioning the authenticity. Pareho naman silang gagamitin nila yung video na yan na ebidensya So they could have done that. Of course, it is necessary that they check that nothing is spliced, nothing is subtracted, nothing is added. But they could have done that during pre-trial, even before they present their witnesses. Para kung pareho naman pala, edi naiwasan na sana yung ilang oras sa pagtatalo dyan. Pangalawa, it's very important for the impeachment court to frame and outline for themselves and for the people ano ba yung importante dito. They have to remind themselves and everyone the charge is not grave threats. That's a criminal charge. And the impeachment court, hindi yan yung kanilang trabaho. If you want grave threats, a criminal charge, you go to ordinary courts. Impeachment ito. So itong pagbabanta is only an example of yung culpable violation of the Constitution or betrayal of the public trust. So yan ba would amount to culpable violation of the Constitution? As a matter of fact, even the defense, the respondent does not deny na merong ganyan. Ang sinasabi lang niya, parte daw ng freedom of expression. Now they're trying to siguro introduce tignan natin bakit niya nasabi yan. So they have to grapple with that. And at the same time, bakit kinakailangan bang meron ng assassin para culpable violation of the Constitution? Or the fact that you made the threat itself would be culpable violation of the Constitution. So ganun ho dapat ang punto nila para mas mabilis ang pagpatakbo ng kaso na without sacrificing accuracy and fairness and due process to both sides.
Attorney, since you brought it up already, can we get your thoughts on the defense's approach? Because they did not deny that she uttered the words, but instead justified the utterance of the words because she felt that there was a threat to her and her family. Can you break this approach down for us and why the defense possibly chose to go with this?
Well, I don't know the reasons. We can only speculate, diba? But also, you have to understand that both sides are not only appealing to the senator judges, they are also pandering to the taong bayan. This case is fully televised, so the reactions, the thoughts, the feedback from the people would factor in dun sa desisyon ng mga senador na iko-convict ba o hindi. And that's a reality. This is quasi-judicial and quasi-political. As a matter of fact, it's even a social and ethical weighing things, no? So, baka dun sila pumupunta na normally, kung ikaw ay inagrabyado din, sasabihin ng common tao, di pwede ka rin magmura, pwede ka rin mag-threat. Ganun yung common sense. But in law, hindi naman ibig sabihin na dapat dahil na agrabyado ka, you can employ illegal things that might amount to culpable violation of the Constitution. Kasi yun ho yung charge. So that can also be the other aspect also is they might have wanted to chip away the credibility and competence of the witness. But then again, yun nga, why do you have to do that? Admitted naman na sinabi talaga niya, focus on your defense. Hindi na sana yung titibagin mo pa yan, hindi nyo naman dinideny.
Mm-hmm. Well, Attorney, I want to ask you also about the relevance of playing the video of the former Chief of Staff of the Vice President. It showed there na siya po ay being against doon sa being transferred to another detention in the dead of the night. Did the defense succeed in showing pattern of persecution, or did it just prove or showed na if you are working with the Vice President, diba, you are entitled with some exemptions? Special treatment, Attorney?
Yeah, but that's a very intelligent point of view, and that's why lawyers have to be very careful. When you present something, it can be perceived different ways, diba? So, yan, i-present nila. So, it can generate a feeling na, nga naman, inaapi na nila, inaagrabyado, umiiyak na nga yung tao. Therefore, yung boss niya, pwede siyang magmura, pwede na siyang mag-threaten. Ganun ang pag-iisip ng iba eh. But in law, it may be different. Diba? Na you cannot right a wrong. Assuming there's a wrong, you cannot right a wrong with another wrong. So that's a legal principle. So it's for the lawyers eventually to bring that out. So naintindihan natin yung effort at duty of the defense to bring the whole event in context. Diba? Maaari yun ang kanilang pakay. But as you pointed out, meron ding iba sasabihin, bakit ba kung yung ibang tao hindi naman sinasaklolohan, bakit pag ikaw tauhan ka, pwede nang gawin yan sa Presidente at First Lady at sa Speaker of the House. Pwede rin ganun ang tanong ng taong bayan eh. So maganda na everything is out there in the public arena, nandun kayong media. Para sa ganun, hindi lang yung mga trolls o yung mga press statements ng prosecution or defense ang makikita ng taong bayan, kundi ang kalahatan. Yun lang, they have to manage it kasi baka masyadong umabay.
Mm-hmm. And Attorney, one of the defenses that the defense panel raised is that those on the receiving end of the threat or the offended parties, PBBM, the First Lady, the former Speaker, never actually filed a complaint. They didn't submit any affidavit also on these alleged threats of the Vice President. Is that a sound argument on the side of the defense? What point were they trying to make there?
Well, I think that's more of a social or political argument. Diba? Sa ordinary time ba, yan, kung agrabyado ka, di magkaso ka. But that's not a legal defense. Ang dami ng mga naagrabyado, hindi nga nagkakaso. Bakit? Kasi hindi sila naniniwala sa hustisya o kaya, ba't pa ako magkaso wala namang mangyayari, napakatagal. So, it can be that, so it can also be argued differently. But all of these things, pwede na rin sana nilang pinag-usapan. Kasi totoo namang walang final na case eh. But you don't need to file a case for a crime or a culpable violation of the Constitution to occur or any of the grounds of impeachment to occur. So, mga ganitong mga posturing, pwede rin sana pinag-usapan, nag-agree na lang sila, and then mga memorandum na lang nila. But of course, again, this is a case of its own. It's a class by itself. Ina-appeal din nila yung mga ginagawa at nag-a-appeal din sila sa taong bayan.
Attorney, another topic of conversation with many people would be the many objections raised during the impeachment trial. We can look at this through several lenses. There's the legal point of view, the strategic point of view, and the public's point of view. Could you explain to us why the objections are necessary, or why either team even Attorney Michael Poa said it's natural for lawyers to do this. They're just doing their jobs.
Well, he's correct, no? And also you have to understand, litigation lawyers are trained that way. Meron lang silang makitang basis for objection. It is their ethical duty to raise it. Kaya nga dyan sana ma-avoid yan kung may stipulation of facts na mas maayos at naglahad na ng kanya-kanyang mga depensa at akusasyon. Ang mahirap kasi yung answer ng Vice President is hindi niya tinutumbok yung mga akusasyon. He's not denying or accepting anything. He's medyo tangential ang kanyang sagot. So siguro nahirapan din sila mag-stipulate dahil sa ganon. At tama naman si Atty. Poa, trabaho lang nila yon. But then again, hindi ito criminal case eh. It's not even a civil case. So it is correct that you go by the rules, but not too much technicality. Yung bang nangyari ba yan o hindi? Ginawa ba o hindi? O kung ginawa, o ano yung explanation mo. So, you can go direct to those things. Hindi na yung mga detalye. But they also understand na kung may konting kulang, pupunain mo yan para hopefully you can convince the observer na wala, kalokohan lang ito. May mga konti-konti o baka maniwala sila. O kaya kung minsan yung iba, parang basketball na eh. Ang binibilang kung ilang objection, kulang overrule, ilang sustain, hindi sana ganun ha. Hindi ito pagalingan ng mga abogado. Hindi ito paramihan ng objection, sustain, overruled, at kung ano-ano pang diskurso. Balikan natin yung ano ba talaga nangyari, ano bang totoo. Yung mga alam na nating lahat, yung tanggap na nating lahat, magkabilang panig, masyadong pag-aawayan. And then, anong mas important, anong rason mo dito, anong explanation mo dito, and then, katanggap-tanggap ba yan o hindi? Ganun lang ho sana yan.
Well, attorney, kasi, di ba, parang nangyayari, this country is so divided na pati sa court, nagkakaroon ng mga kanya-kanyang manok, kaya nagkakaroon ng mga scoring.
May mga day 1 winner,
diba?
day 2 winner.
Oo. Pero attorney, I wanna take this opportunity to ask you also about, because Attorney Torion, among other lawyers, has gone to the Supreme Court once again, this time around asking to stop or halt the impeachment and questioning the authority of presiding officer Escudero to preside the impeachment trial, no? The question here is that can the Supreme Court intervene in an impeachment that is already underway? And what happens kung nag-intervene sila? Will it delay the impeachment trial?
I'll answer the second question. Kung mag-intervene na naman dito ang Supreme Court, definitely madidelay, lalong-lalo may-intervene na naman nila. Pero sa tingin ko, maingat na ngayon ang Supreme Court. Kasi kung maalala natin, if you remember, a year ago, they stopped the impeachment. And the Supreme Court suffered a lot of credibility crisis at kinuligsa sila ng halos lahat nakakaalam at nakakaunawa sa batas at konstitusyon. If you remember, that decision of the Supreme Court was one of the most criticized decision of the Supreme Court na halos lahat nagsasabing judicial overreach yan. So I hope they've learned their lesson na huwag masyadong makialam dun sa mga bagay-bagay sa konstitusyon na wala naman sa kanilang poder. Huwag na silang makisawsaw dito, and if they can avoid it, mas maganda ipaubaya mo na sa impeachment court. Lalong-lalo na yung mga dalawang issues na tinadala nila sa Supreme Court, mukhang meron namang matibay na basehan sa konstitusyon at saka sa batas.
You know, Attorney, ahead of this impeachment trial, a lot of lawyers, a lot of analysts have said that this allegation on grave threats could potentially be the strongest article of impeachment. In fact, even the House prosecutors themselves said they decided to go with this article as the first one to be presented because it was the least contentious, at least in terms of facts. But now that we've seen a glimpse of the strategy, of the arguments of the prosecution and the defense, what do you think, Attorney? Can this particular article of impeachment constitute an impeachable offense of the Vice President?
Well, the fact that it happened, hindi na dapat yung pinag-aawayan. But what we need to hear is ano ba yung explanation ng respondent. Hindi pa natin naririnig yun. So we cannot at this point extrapolate o kaya prejudge. Doon sana ang kumbukin nila. At tama yung mga abogado, tama yung taong bayan, tama kayo. Ito yung pinakasimple. Alam na nating lahat. Mukhang yung mga nasa korte lang hindi nakakaalam. But alam din nila yon. But they have to go through all of these niceties and all the details. Mas sana, puntahan na yung ano ba yung rason ng presidente dito. Kung hindi malinaw dun sa kanyang written answer, pwede namang i-elicit yan sa impeachment court ngayon. Pwede naman nilang tanungin yung defense para ma-frame ng maayos. Alam nila kung itong mga ebidensya ito kinakailangan pa ba o hindi na. And that's the beauty and the benefit kung nagtatanong ng matino yung mga senator judges na ibaba at ibalik dito at ibaba sa level na naiintindihan ng lahat. Kasi yung video naiintindihan na nating lahat. So, yung alam na natin lahat yan, hindi nga dinideny ng respondent. So, ang mas mahalaga dito, sige, tabi natin yan. And then, later on, bigyan sila, ano ba talaga ang explanation mo dito, ang depensa mo dito? Kesa yung, ang haba-haba, tinatanggap nyo pala, ebidensya nyo pareho, pero pag-aawayan nyo pa kung yan ba ay kumpleto, yan ba ay AI, yan ba ay splash, pati yung mga nag-identify lang dun sa kopya na ginawa, pati lahat ng mga kompetensya. Of course, that's usual, but this is not a criminal case.
Right.
Since obviously the impeachment trial just started, it's just been the first 3 days, public interest, all-time high, still very much invested. But again, when the proceedings are ongoing, as you mentioned, the technicalities, people tend to zone out because they don't understand it. Why is it important to retain public interest? And is there anyone who's going to lose once the public decides, I don't understand this, I'm just going to watch every now and then, or I'll just stop watching altogether?
You know, the framers of the Constitution in our country, in many other countries, know that. That's why, ang dapat yan, ang essence ng Constitution, they should do it as soon as possible, na hindi patagalin. Why? Because that's a very important position. We need some stability. At the same time also, kailangan engage ang taong bayan. So, what we have to avoid are efforts to dribble, to delay, to divert, or even go to the Supreme Court and try to stop it from the outside na naman, itong impeachment case o kaya i-dribble to grandstanding in aid of re-election or election, di ba? at hintayin hanggang umabot sa election para lahat politikahan na naman. So we should avoid that. We should guard against that. So it is important na magawa nila yon na hindi masyadong patagalin ito. That's why we appeal to the senators to be in control, simplify things so that matumbok natin ito. Because otherwise, and it is very important that the public remains focused or engaged. And that's why we should thank media like you na tinatalakay nyo ito. Kasi kung hindi, ang mamamayani dito, mga trolls, kanya-kanyang bayaran, kanya-kanyang mga kasinungalingan, kanya-kanyang opinion, at they're so good at magnifying things and multiplying things. So mass media, responsible journalism, and of course, mga people like us who comment, pag-aralan lang mabuti, let's redirect it to that. Because yung importante yung pulso ng taong bayan. As a matter of fact, ang nakasakdal dito, hindi lang yung respondent o yung mga abogado, yung mga hukom, yung buong sambayan ng Pilipino. Because kung hindi na tayo interesado o kaya ma-feel ng mga senador o lahat ng mga actors at parties na wala nang pakialam ang Pilipino dyan, sanay na tayo sa kurakutan, tanggap na natin yan, mas importante sa atin yung naambunan tayo paminsan-minsan o popular sila o makapagyarihan o kaya binoto natin sila, okay na lang yung nakawan o yung abuso o yung pagpapabaya sa mga matataas na opisyal ng ating gobyerno, baka yun nga ang gagawin ng mga hukom na yun naman pala, okay naman sa taong bayan, edi okay na lang ito, ba't pa natin tatanggalin? So that's why it is very important that yung proseso hindi masyadong matagal kasi tama yung observation nyo. Kung masyadong technical ito, sabi na, labanan na lang ng abogado ito. Hindi po na natin pakita para mangyayari dyan. That would be very unfortunate because nakasalalay din sa atin. Ano bang level ng ating konsepto ng accountability? How tolerant are we about abuse of power, about irregularities, katiwalian, o minsan kalokohan, vis-a-vis yung ating loyalty kasi binoto natin sila, naambunan tayo sila, popular sila, makapangyarihan sila. So, dapat engaged din tayo. At tinatansya yan ng mga politician, senators.
Yeah. Well, kaya nga sinasabi nila, attorney, di ba, kung ikaw manonood, even if you are a lawyer, don't wear your hat as a lawyer while watching, di ba? Di ba? Watch it as a regular joke. Pero, attorney, tanong ko lang din, what do you think about, what do you have to say about the behavior, the way the witness conducted himself yesterday, si NBI agent John Mark Calilong? There were pauses in his statements. There were hesitations to some confusing questions. Others would say that it showed badges of veracity. But for others, or critics, mostly are quick to say na, ay, na-off script siya kaya ganyan. So, your thoughts on that?
But number one, he's a professional. He knows his job. Hindi ho naman ito yung mga baka wala na witness. He's an officer of the NBI, matagal na siya dyan, meron naman silang sufficient knowledge. At saka totoo naman na siya ang gumawa ng mga reproduction. So yun lang naman ang importante. Hindi naman siya yung magsasabi guilty or not guilty. So normal din yan, ito. Mas magdududa ka, there's a principle in evidence, especially evidence. Kung perfect yan, walang hesitation, walang pauses, walang pagkakamali, doon ka magdududa, baka nga minemorize yan. So, yung mga small, that's normal for any witness. Sometimes, di ba, show him the document to refresh because the witness is not expected to memorize all the details.
Everything.
Oo, of course, parte yan ng strategy ng mga abogado na may maliit na tuldok, hindi nabanggit. Yun ang i-magnify. Pero balikan na, ano ba talaga purpose ng witness? Ako yung gumawa ng kopya, hinanap ko. Nakita ko ito Facebook ng ganito. Di ba? Alam na natin yan. Minsan nga, parang feeling na maraming nanonood. Hindi na namin ikaw kailan, alam na namin yan.
Attorney, curious din ako, ano naman yung take nyo dun sa mga counsel on how they conducted themselves, the prosecution and the defense from the lead counsels, from Congresswoman Jinky Luistro to Attorney Sheila Sison, pati na rin yung nanguna dito sa first article na sina Attorney Linggutan and Attorney Narvasa.
Well, they're fellow lawyers of mine, they're colleagues of mine. But, I have to salute them. They're very professional, no? They're very competent. They're aggressive. And that should be the case because, when you represent one side or the other, you remain faithful to that. So, we also have to understand that for every legal position, you can cite different laws, different jurisprudence, different rules to back you up. So it's their duty na ilabas nila yun. Alangan naman tatanggapin nila kaagad yung sinasabi ng kalaban. That's the professional job of lawyers. So they're competent, they're prepared. Saludo tayo sa kanila. Ang iwasan lang sana yung may mag-grandstanding na yung kahit hindi na kinakailangan sabihin, sasabihin lang para maka-score ng punto dun sa mga netizens na siguro gumagawa ng scoreboard ng mga objection o mga overrule o kung ano-ano, di ba? So, I hope they remain professional. But they should also be mindful dun sa public good o public interest sa kaso na ito. Pwede ba tumbukin na natin yung importante, simplihan na lang natin para hindi masyadong tumagal at manatili ang focus ng taong bayan at manatili ang ating focus. Ano bang totoo? At kung totoo, ito ba ay sufficient ground? Ito ba impeachable offense? At ito ba ay enough to remove her from office? Yun sana. Galingan na lang nila yung mga memorandum nila. Yung questions of fact, hindi na masyado. Kasi nandyan na po yan.
Alright, thank you so much as always for your time, Attorney Domingo Cayosa. Thank you and good morning.
Maraming salamat. Good morning sa lahat.